Last week, the generic Republican and the president were essentially tied. Since weekly tracking began in early May, the Republican has earned 43 to 49% support, while the president has picked up 40% to 45% of the vote. Rasmussen reports will provide new data on the generic matchup each week until the field of prospective Republican nominees narrows to a very few serious contenders. Right now, it's in the Republican side. Is there a really a serious contender on the Republican slate? Can you think of one, Ritchie, that might be a really serious contender to run for president on the Republican slate?
To run, well, it's certainly obviously none of the clowns that are running now. I think Chris Christie, I know we make fun of him, we make jokes.
Right.
I think
he said yesterday, I'm out.
It's official that he's not running, but I certainly think that that he would have been the best contender if for no other reason than the fact that he's not the other guys that are running in the Republican Party.
Mm-hmm.
The Republican Party, they are spiraling out of control right now, and Barack Obama's beatable. I mean, we both know this. But he's going to obviously, I think, he's going to win the election, and he's not going to win because he's any super great president, which he certainly hasn't been to this point, but because the Republicans have a lack of a candidate.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I mean, you remember back in 2008? It all started in 2006. In 2006, we had more candidates coming out of the woodwork, and it went on for remember that?
Well, yeah.
2 solid years
and
of
that was,
campaigning.
Right, and that was certainly a unique situation in the sense that that was the first time in, I think, about 40 or 50 years where there was no incumbent or no heir apparent waiting in the wings for the next election, meaning a vice president or a strong incumbent. So both parties were open, and they were. You're right. They were fighting early. Now, one of the reasons why the Democrats won that year that the Republicans lack this year is the Democrats in 2007 going into the 2008 election had a really deep field. I mean, as a Democrat myself, Dale, I would have honestly been satisfied had any of the three been the nominees, and that would have been Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, or Joe Biden. So my party was going 3 deep that year.
Right.
As far as the Republicans this year, once you get past Mitt Romney, and Mitt Romney's not that great a guy, but he's probably the best of the current budget. Past the current group of guys.
Yeah, we had Ron Paul.
Ron Paul's a boob. I mean, it's just and they're just not electable people after.
But I'm talking about the fact that we had so many Republican candidates. We had Ron Paul. We had Fred Thompson.
You're talking about the 2007 election still, right?
Yeah. Fred Thompson. I mean, there were Republicans coming out of the woodwork. But
the same thing in 2008, the same thing going into the 2008 election. Now, certainly looking back at what you have today, you'd certainly love to have any of those old candidates from 2008 back. Even the 2008 Republican field wasn't that strong anyway, and they were going up against a very charismatic group of Democrats. Plus, they were up against a very strong anti-war movement, and towards the end of the campaign cycle, the economy collapsed. So that certainly didn't help anybody feel better about the election anyway.
Oh no! It's then of course. At the same time, we have a lot of people now who are very unhappy because Barack Obama had promised a number of things. He was going to revitalize the economy. He bailed the banks out. Then the banks still turned around and took 7 million homes from the people, which I don't think that was right for the government. Taxpayer dollars to bail the banks out. Then the bastards turn around and take your house away.
Well, that was George Bush that did that. That was Bush's plan. Obama's bailout was the auto industry, which came in, I think, late last year or whatever.
But still, Obama did give a lot of money to, and I'm not faulting him for it. I mean, he gave a lot of money to Citibank. They gave it to Bank of America. We had banks closing up practically every Friday.
Right, in 2007 it was, because if you remember at the height of that.
Yeah, I'm talking after Obama got elected.
Right. Well, because I remember in 2007, or I'm sorry, going into the fall of 2008, I remember John McCain suspending his campaign, claiming that they were going to, that the House and the Senate were going to get together and try to figure out this budget crisis, or the economic crisis.
Right.
And it's obviously gotten better, then worse, then better, then back again. It's been up and down, obviously, since. But to go back to your original analysis, is like I said, I don't think Barack Obama is going to win this current election as much as the Republicans are going to piss it away. You understand what I'm saying by that?
Right. Yeah.
Because I think at the end of the day,
every time.
Exactly. I think at the end of the day, my people are going to vote for my people. Their people are going to vote for their people, and the guys in the middle are going to say, you know what? I don't think those guys over there are quite what I'm looking for. I'm just going to stay with the guy I have, or I'm not going to vote. One of the two.
Let me see how you probably know the answer right off the get-go.
B. The answer's B.
Because you are a Democrat. But who was the last Democratic president to not win a second term?
Oh, well, that's easy. It was Jimmy Carter, because there's been very few Democrats that have won second terms, because we tend to not fight for what we believe in, and we tend to let the Republicans walk all over us and not fight back, which is what made Clinton the exception to the rule, because Clinton stood up to Republicans, whether you like. Now it ended in his impeachment, obviously, and they tried to use the law to get him out of office and to undo an election. But Bill Clinton didn't put up with any crap from Republicans. Jimmy Carter did. Obviously, Barack Obama did. I mean, honestly, I look at Barack Obama. You want a good Republican in the White House next year, re-elect Barack Obama, because he's the best Republican you guys have had in a long time. Have
you seen pictures of Bill Clinton lately? Really. I mean, why any man or woman would want to aspire to be the president of the United States, knowing when they go in, like if they get elected at the age of, I think Clinton was like 50, or no, even maybe he wasn't even 50 yet.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought he was in his late 40s when
maybe he's in late 40s, because Kennedy was the youngest of all. He was 43 when he got elected. I think Clinton was a few years older, but I mean, look at Clinton now. After all of this time in the White House, and then of course the follow-up after you leave the White House, you got to make it speaking engagements. You got to get out there and work for the party and everything else. It's taken a good 30 years off of his life.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, no matter how young and energetic a person is, if you do that job properly, Dale, and if you spend every moment doing the job the way it's supposed to be done, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, you're going to look worn down. I mean, look at George W. Bush at the end of his presidency. He looked fabulous.
But
he looked like $1 million.
What the thing of it was, he couldn't put together. He talked like Bubba from Arkansas.
Well, and again, and actually, regardless of what you think of Rick Perry's policies, George Bush is going to hurt him for that reason. Is that he's just too much sounding like George Bush,
right?
And that's going to hurt people who don't follow politics on a day. That's going to hurt him. I'm sorry, in the minds of people who don't follow politics on a day-to-day basis.
That's it. Well, I don't think Perry's going to be able to carry it. I really don't.
I think Tyler Perry has about as good a shot at winning that election as Rick Perry does. I'd vote for Stephen Perry first.
29 past the hour on Sirius XM with the Truck and Bozo on Sirius XM 106.